Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Good morning, Las Vegas. What's going on? Welcome to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody. Hope you're having a good one so far, and we're going to be having a pretty wild one too coming up here tonight. AEW Double or Nothing. It's going to be a lot of fun as we're looking forward to checking that one out. A huge pay-per-view. Last step on the road to AEW All In, their WrestleMania. It's going to be a blast. So looking forward to a huge day today in professional wrestling. All right, let's bring in the crew of crazies. I almost forgot who this guy was. I missed him so much. Let's get him in here from the Wrestling Revolver. He is Phil Stamper, everybody. What's up?
Hey, where's my applause? I feel like that was a big wind up for applause there. Yeah.
Yeah. Phil, how you been, brother? What's going on with the Revolver?
Doing okay. I feel like it's been forever.
I know. Well, it has.
I mean, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it has been a minute. You taking any slams through tables or anything like that? Anything good happening to you?
I think the CTE is making me forget. So.
All good, my friend. Very happy to have you back with us. And let's bring in another one of the goofball crew for today. He is Ash Arkell. What's up, Ash?
Good morning.
That's it? That's all I get out of you?
Good morning, Las Vegas.
There you go. At least get that. Welcome, Ash. In.
All Vegas deserves.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we got a lot more than I think we deserved, and we're going to talk about that. Oh, yeah. And also I believe it is for the first time on the show. I am stunned that this guy's never been in here. Joey DeFalco the third. What's going on, three man?
Good morning as well. Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't been on before as well.
Well,
I'm trying to think back. I don't recall typing my name into this yet. So yes, good morning and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thrilled to have you. Guys, it's going to be a crazy weekend with all this pro wrestling. So many events happening, but what do you say? WWE stole the show. And I can't imagine that the city of New Orleans and all their troops down there are too happy right now as the announcement came down yesterday that WrestleMania 42 will not be held in New Orleans. And it appears without an official announcement that they're coming back here, guys. They're going to be back in Las Vegas. This is the first time since WrestleManias 4 and 5 that there has been the same site hosting WrestleMania. That's unbelievable. And let me start with you, Ash, because you're pretty hooked in with everybody. Where did this start? What have you heard about what happened with this whole thing?
I think there was something to do with a concert that got in the way, and then they were unable to move the concert. Now, I don't know if that was at Allegiant, whether they were trying to do the week prior, the 18th and the 19th, but for some reason they've shifted. They've put money in the bank in New Orleans in August, which is a lot later, which is more SummerSlam territory. And said, you know what, we're going to pull an Atlantic City and do back-to-back Gambling City and go back to Las Vegas. And Allegiant apparently have officially locked it in. So it's official. We're getting a second chance.
That is unreal. And Joey, I know, with your connections with your father and FSW, how crazy that week gets for all of you guys. And him and the indie promotions and everything else that are hitting the city. I can't believe we're going to be doing it again. What impact does this have, not just on the city and the wrestling scene, but everybody here that's going to be putting together cards and renting out buildings and the whole thing again after recovering from last year.
Well, that's the best way to put it, recovering. So who did well and who didn't is the question. Now, who's going to come back and who's going to avoid it because they didn't promote it the first time around well enough and think that maybe that the city didn't do as well as they were hoping so, but who got to the party late? People came in and announced the show 2-3 weeks out. Now they have a full year. They got 9 months to come around. They have venues that they worked with before that they made their money the first time. They're not going to say no to somebody paying to rent out a venue. So these people are probably locking in the same venues as quick as they can and more venues. If people saw that GCW drew 1,200 or 1,500 for Joey Janela Spring Break and Bloodsport, why are they not going to try and book the Palms now? Why are they not going to try and beat GCW to the punch and take the venue that drew the most? So
all the venues too that didn't throw watch parties that were unassuming of wrestling and then got a taste of what wrestling was like in Las Vegas and now jumping at it. My phone has blown up in the last 24 hours. But more to the point, talking about second chances, do we see Karrion Kross on the card this time?
He better be on the card.
Man.
Oh, could you imagine? Oh, my God. Oh,
I don't want to imagine what Karrion would be like if he wasn't on the card the second year in a row.
He would be ripping apart locker rooms.
People will think it's a nuclear testing site in Las Vegas again.
Freaking laser beams.
Well, Phil, you're in the East, so a totally different perspective from what we've got here.
Mm-hmm.
You heard the announcement, and that New Orleans was losing this and apparently coming to Vegas. What is the word on the street in the eastern part of the country?
I will say I don't think it's just exclusive to the East. It was way too expensive this last time. It's going to be way more expensive probably this coming time. Yes, though GCW drew 1,200 people for those two events, they drew like 100 for their other events. So there's also a question of, is the Palms affordable? And this was even when it was like, oh, well, Las Vegas in maybe 4 or 5 more years. And what are people thinking of for then? So now to know it's just going to come around again in 10 more months is a little like, or 10 more months, 9 more months. I'm sorry, I'm going the wrong way in my math.
We're having a long-term baby. It's all good.
Yeah, there you go. So for people on the East Coast, it's a little bit more travel. People are trying to plan ahead. But there also seems to be an issue. I just saw this with the convention center in Las Vegas because there's already something else scheduled there. So they won't have the full convention center facilities that were available last time, which people were complaining about for the cost of having to go before in all of the space they had. So I think there's some questions of how will things position. There are already 2 of the independent promotions that ran out there have closed their doors.
Wow.
Because they were like, everything was too expensive. Not just Vegas, but overall, and Vegas was sort of the topper. So, and they thought they were going to reclaim some stuff, and they didn't. So now it's people are trying to reposition and imagine what they're going to do next. And I think some of the East Coast promotions that aren't getting an opportunity to showcase themselves are probably trying to figure out, okay, is now the time? What's more weird to me is, did The Rock jump the gun? Did he make the announcement before the announcement was supposed to be said because they were still trying to figure things out? Because it was also very weird that during WrestleMania weekend, I don't really remember if they commented that they were going to New Orleans next year, which typically, there's that one little 30-second, we're going next year, WrestleMania. Yeah. Here's the little promo package. And I don't remember that. Maybe it happened and I blinked and I missed it.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see the reaction from every entity. Let's start at the top, WWE. And you guys mentioned, it's going to be super expensive again. It may be worse. There was a lot of feedback, I think, from people saying that this was too expensive. And, but WWE is probably going for a cash grab here. Do you think that maybe they back off a little bit, or do they say, you know what, we suckered them, we got them, they're paying what we want them to pay. Let's see if we can push it a little bit more like Top Gun Maverick, when Maverick was flying that plane and said, don't go to Mach 10.1, and he took it to 10.1 and blew the plane up. Ash, What do you think?
I think they reduce the stage. They put more people in. I think they try and price point it a little lower, but not too low. I mean, this is coming from somebody that dropped $120,000 on the WrestleMania just gone to schmooze people for my venture. And now you've got WWE talking about how they're going to come here on a permanent basis, do more PLEs here, and try and turn this into the mecca of pro wrestling. I mean, I know that was someone else's idea, but it doesn't seem like WWE to steal it from ideas from people. So I think I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that one. But do they make it super expensive and break and try and break people's bank accounts? No, not after the flack they got last year. This year. Why am I saying last year? This year, just gone.
And Joey, on the end of the indies, Phil was talking about some of the fallout from that. How do you feel about what's going to be happening with some of the indie promotions that are going to be coming in? They're going to be, renting out the facility on Harrison Drive and some other ones too. Do you see what kind of adaptations do you see from everybody as we get to do a back-to-back WrestleMania?
Well, as I kind of mentioned, people are going to lock down venues. Who gets to them first now? Is it going to be the companies that already ran? Because I'm pretty sure there was a dozen companies that I had no idea was running, but they ran smaller venues. I know Marvelous and Shimmer, I believe it was over at the Silverton. I didn't hear about that until about a week before the show. And that was Silverton's still a decent casino. So who's going to beat who? Everybody to the punch and get as soon as people start getting the promotion out there and they start booking talent, they just need to be the first ones out the gate to be able to sell tickets. If WrestleMania is coming here, if your tickets are on sale first and you have a decent card, you just have to get the card out there. Tickets are going to sell. As soon as you start promoting now, just got to be early to the parties, I think. Earlier you are, the better you're going to be.
And Phil, all about that. As an expert on the indie scene, this is going to be a fascinating period to see how everybody adjusts coming around this second time.
Did he freeze? I'll step in for a second here and tell you that I've already started booking the Rio. I'm planning a 2-day festival, the week of WrestleMania, variety of wrestling, doing the convention center, doing stuff on the Masquerade casino floor, and doing like WrestleMania 9 in the parking lot or on I-15. We're going to be taking over the entire Rio parking lot outside the Fight Dome by the pool. We're looking to do sumo wrestling, arm wrestling, maybe invite FSW to have a spot on the show, get in contact with the micros again, and putting on a massive show to be, I'm not revealing the names of anything yet, but a huge 4-hour pay-per-view on Triller, and doing a festival in the parking lot. And I've already spoken to the Rio. They just said, get your ducks in a row. Let's line it up. So the entirety of the Rio, there'll be another convention other than WrestleCon. There will be a festival. There'll be live music, and there'll be all sorts of retail merchandise and meet and greet opportunities on the casino floor, as well as the official WrestleMania watch party.
There you go. Yeah, and it will be very fascinating to see how everybody adapts after this time around. And it was a very expensive week, but with the convention center being down a little bit, problems over at the Fountain Blue, for those of you that don't live here, they just turned almost all of their table staff into part-time. So the Fountain Blue, which was WWE's de facto headquarters, is in a little bit of trouble. So it'll be interesting to see what WWE does this next time around. But there are some other interesting little factoids coming out of this thing, and we're going to break it down for you a little bit more when we return here on the Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the Talk of Las Vegas. We are also streaming on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Get that app right now, and your internet will work. I guarantee it. Most of the time, anyway. So download that right now. Of course, we're also doing a live stream here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. Stick around, everybody. We got a whole lot more on the Mark Hoke Show coming up as we continue to break down the news. Vegas gets WrestleMania again, and we get ready for a huge weekend. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back. Want a matching bonus up to $500 and have fun betting on pro wrestling plus all your favorite sports and entertainment events? Then you need to check out betonline.ag. Bet on all the top wrestling events, plus you can get a free 50% matching bonus up to $1,000 on your initial deposit. Just go to markhokeshow.com, click on the betonline.ag link, and use sign-up code BOL1000 to get in on the action today and receive your 50% matching bonus. So get in on all the betting excitement. Sign up right now on markhokeshow.com with betonline.ag.
Now, let's return to the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, let's get back to it. The best in pro wrestling news and entertainment here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Phil Stamper has changed positions on the big live stream board. Everything okay there, Phil Stamper? Are you all right?
No, but it'll be all right. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Of course, also joined by Ash Arkell and Joey DeFalco as we roll on through this unbelievable news. But, you know, something I got to wonder about, New Orleans, they can't be happy about this right now. There are so many people that, you know, when you think about what it goes to set up a WrestleMania, everything getting booked, you know, fans booking their tickets, booking their getting the reservations and plane flights and the whole thing. WrestleCon had already signed their contract for a facility out in New Orleans, and I would hope they're going to let them out of that. I mean, I can't imagine they're going to, you know, steal a deposit from them or anything like that. But I can't remember a time where WrestleMania had a site change like this. And, you know, I don't know how much of a shock it was to these guys in New Orleans that they, you know, pulled WrestleMania from them, but they actually can't be happy.
There was a slight change when we had COVID.
Yes.
We switched from Raymond James to the Performance Center, and there was no fans, and poor Drew had to win the title off Brock Lesnar in front of nobody. But if I'm reading Dave Meltzer. I've looked at the New Orleans news sites. People are disappointed. They are, but they don't seem to be as disappointed. Triple H has only an hour or so ago has released a statement thanking New Orleans for you know, bearing with them and the fact that they're getting money in the bank, and they're going to be working, you know, closely with the convention center and everybody else to do big things for around Money in the Bank. So I'm not sure that they're that unhappy, especially when it's another excuse to come back here to Las Vegas.
Yeah, but there was a lot of fan disappointment, and Phil, it's been pretty split. I think there are a lot of people that are saying, you know what? Hey, I'm going back to Vegas, man. That's fine with me. We're going to have a great time. But then there's people that are saying you're going to have a burnout factor from going to Vegas again, as opposed to everybody was excited to go to New Orleans and party it up, you know, and all those things the arrangements that got changed because of this move. And I'll be honest with you, Triple H's statement was a little. Here's a pat on the back for you guys. You know, you're getting Money in the Bank next August. Isn't that okay? And sometime you'll get WrestleMania. I was like, oh man, I think I might have left it at, we appreciate it. We're going to take care of you and leave it there.
I mean, in my life, the only time I've been to Vegas was not wrestling related, and I do regret that I didn't get enough opportunity to see more of what was in Vegas. In New Orleans, though, I was there for that Mania and had an amazing time in New Orleans. And so, I regret not being able to go back. I already knew that the building that WrestleCon, because WrestleCon used to be its own wholly separate entity running their whole deal with events. That building, I just had it in my brain, not the sugar factory, the sugar mill. The sugar mill is gone. It's been bulldozed over. So, there was already, people were already questioning, like, where were they going to go? There's licensing in New Orleans and Louisiana that companies have to get, and wrestlers have to be licensed. There's there's differences in what you have to do. So you either had to deal with a commission like that in Louisiana, or you have to deal with the higher prices of doing business in Vegas. So it's sort of no one's winning right now.
But I'm under the impression that it was New Orleans that canceled WrestleMania, not WWE, right?
Or the venue, it looks like.
Yeah, the venue. Yeah. So it's not WWE's fault. That's why I was saying Triple H is doing his best to try and, with his statement to put it out there. I mean, yeah, it's got to be a bummer for people that can't afford to, the means to travel, and it's there in their hometown and they can just pull up. But, WWE's got a split second to react to this, and why not do it back to back in Vegas? Vegas is on the boom right now, so it's best to jump on.
Joey, what do you think about everybody saying that there's going to be burnout? Because, there are a few events that have gone back to back to back in certain cities. SummerSlam was in LA for 6 years. And then Double or Nothing had been here 4 out of the 6 years previous. They went down to Glendale because of what's happening, with WrestleMania here. They just didn't want to cut it too close and, have everybody broke in Vegas while they were trying to put on a pay-per-view and a month after WrestleMania. How do you see the reaction to it right now? What have you been hearing?
Again, first we got to make sure that it is happening here. The odds, I would suggest, are pretty high. I don't know why coming back here, they just had the highest grossing WrestleMania that they've had in 41 years. And TKO's based here. Nick Khan grew up here, as they told the story a couple months ago of him at WrestleMania 9 walking as helping chauffeur people to their seats. And again, burnout is a high possibility just because the pricing's so high. People booked hotels, like you had mentioned, in New Orleans, booked their flights. I kind of want to go back a little bit, like you had mentioned, about the signing a contract and if they'd be locked in. I know Evolve, when WrestleMania, the year of COVID, Evolve was running, and they had booked out a whole hotel, and they were liable for the hotel, even though COVID had come through, and that is what I believe bankrupted the company. And then that's where Gabe ended up signing with WWE, because Evolve kind of got stuck in a corner because they had signed previous paperwork going to, I can't remember where they were supposed to be that year for WrestleMania, I believe New York or up that way. And then they kind of got stuck with the bill, and they had to close doors. So coming back here with the prices being so high, it can be a win. It can be a loss. I couldn't tell you which way it would lean more, just because for them, it's probably going to be a win. For the fans, it might not be. For the people trying to come out, it might not just work again. It might just not work again just because of the pricing. But TKO might have a second year where they gross the highest they've ever had for a WrestleMania. So why wouldn't they take that risk? Especially now that they had to catch up for 4 or 5 months. I don't know how long they have New Orleans locked in before WrestleMania 41 was here, but now you have to play a 4 or 5 month catch up. Why not just go to the city you were in last, where you made tons of money?
Makes sense. And the casinos are on a 60% loss across the strip. So if WWE helped boost the casinos revenue, then hey, bring it back. They did Atlantic City twice in the 80s. Let's do Vegas twice in the 20s.
One statement that I did hear that really made me feel like things have changed so much here in Las Vegas. I mean, I moved out here 12 years ago, and we didn't have T-Mobile, we didn't have Allegiant Stadium. There's other things that are, like Elon Musk has that loop going right now, and if they keep building that, that's going to be a great transportation thing for everybody to get around. And just recently, that Tropicana interchange just opened up by the stadium. So it's going to make everybody's lives a lot easier getting around here. And the thing about Vegas is that it's great for events like this. They're talking now that they want to make sure that they're in the rotation, that every year they've either got the Super Bowl, they've got the Final Four, they've got the college football championship, or they've got WrestleMania. And two things there is, number one, because we have dreamed that events like that were going to be coming here a few years ago. But then for them to say, look, we're going to be in the mix for every one of these major events every year. I mean, that's incredible.
And don't forget Formula One. Don't forget the athletics are coming now. So eventually we'll have the World Series and what's the NBA playoff thing that they do in the summer?
Yeah, the NBA playoffs. Yeah, the finals. Yeah,
it's no, not the finals. The other one,
Summer League.
The Summer League. Yeah, that's here every year.
So hey, man, we're going to be the sports entertainment capital of the world. Why not? Which was my idea first, by the way. Las Vegas be the pro wrestling capital of the world.
Yeah, it's headed that way. It's pretty amazing. I was taken a little bit aback that they decide they're going to do this in Vegas again. It's not 100% official. We haven't heard, The Rock come out and make an announcement. But I don't know if we want The Rock to come out and make an announcement. It seems like we have some issues when he does that.
Well, I know for a fact Allegiant Stadium, WWE were very impressed with Allegiant Stadium. Like, it went off really well. Getting out, though, the logistics of the fans leaving, not so well.
No, it's terrible. There was
like a zombie apocalypse with the fans leaving on night 2.
I can vouch for that. It's horrible getting out of that stadium.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible. Like I said, maybe with the roads getting opened up a little bit more, it's going to be better, but not much.
We got 9, 10, 11, 12. Who knows how many months till next year's WrestleMania to make it work with the infrastructure.
Phil, do you think part of this is that The Rock's going to be in the main event? With it right now, because I think that The Rock will be probably facing Cody Rhodes in this main event for WrestleMania. It's just my hunch, but I'm thinking Rock and Cody.
Would I be shocked? No. The thing is with The Rock, you just don't know what he's gonna do, and so I feel like any moment he could make an announcement. He could cut another 30-minute promo on Twitter. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen that'll change the landscape. But I do think it'll be him who does it if there is one. I wouldn't be shocked by it. I just wouldn't. I don't see what it is going to be a year from now. But The Rock is notorious for like, okay, here's WrestleMania. I'll be around for a couple months, and then you won't hear from me for 10 months. So it would not shock me at all.
Yeah, of course, we're on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, Talk of Las Vegas. Ash Arkell, Joey DeFalco, Phil Stamper, and Joey's over here shaking his head like, I've lost my mind. You don't like that main event? You don't think that's what it's going to be?
No, we didn't want it 2 years ago. Well, yeah, it was whatever it broke down to, a year and a half ago. Like, we didn't want that then when it came to be almost.
Well, it wasn't going to be Cody and Rock. It's going to be Rock and Roman.
Logan, it's going to be Logan.
I was going to joke about that. I was going to joke. Logan Paul. But right, we wanted Rock Roman, and then it ended up being Cody filling in. Like, the timing was weird. Everybody wanted Rock Roman, and then it became we want Cody to finish the story.
You're saying filled in like The Rock got sick.
No, it's filled in like
he threw his toys out the pram and jumped on the stage. We were there and came on stage and said, "I won the Royal Rumble."
Well, yeah, there. But I'm talking actuality and behind the scenes. We know what happened. We know it was backlash from, again, whether it was the fans or whether it was internally the best decision money-wise. The Rock company's not going to turn down money if Cody ends up being the right way to go.
The Cody Crybabies made all that happen.
Wow.
He was standing outside the arena interviewing everybody, and we even did a poll, and it came to 16 to 15. We had over 30 groups. And we came down to 31 groups of people that we interviewed for Sunday Slam TV. And it was the final vote was the nail in the coffin, and everybody wanted The Rock. And there was far more Rock shirts and things out there than Cody's. And every Cody fan only looked like they just took their pacifier out 2 months prior.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm starting to get a little loose here. So,
That's
but
okay.
I'm too much prime for me.
That's all right.
I've been sipping on the Logan Paul juice. But I'm telling you, Cody. And here's the thing: Cody's wasn't a bad champion, and the reason they've put it on Cena is because there's too many belts. Like, where's anybody going to go in the future? And how's the belt we know going to be worth anything? I feel like the belt's losing its value, and we need to put it on someone like a Logan Paul who's got a ton of heat, or with somebody like a Karrion Kross who's fighting his way up and is going to be the next up and comer, and put it on them and make it mean something. But doing this Roman Bruno Sammartino, I've got the belt for 10 millennia, doesn't make it worth anything. How you make the belt worth something is you have to make the person be worth something. And we've got that now with Karrion, and we've got that with Logan. And if you ask me, if I had a dream main event at WrestleMania 42, Karrion Kross versus Logan Paul, that would be amazing. Because then Karrion, the god of Vegas wrestling, the guy that's been kept down, the underdog, Killer Kross, steps in the ring with this arrogant, over the top, and they're already starting to put it together. What he thinks of Logan Paul, this arrogant multi-millionaire superstar, poison drink guy, and then Karrion comes and squashes the guy in his hometown of Las Vegas. Before the commercial break, that's my main event.
Ash, tell us what you really think, buddy.
Just did.
Laying it down here on the Mark Hoke Show. Unbelievable. Well, we're going to keep bringing you the best in pro wrestling, and we're going to be talking about this incredible Memorial Day weekend. Start diving into it when we come back. Stick around.
Looking for high-quality custom screen printing in Las Vegas? Look no further than Off-Grid Creations. Need a few custom t-shirts for a local event, band merchandise, or family reunion? We've got you covered. Large order of uniforms for your staff, sports team, or club? We can handle that too. Our experienced team will work closely with you throughout the entire process from design consultation to final product. Call us at 661-300-1115. That's 661-300-1115, or visit our website at off-gridcreations.com. Get a free consultation today.
Hey there, adventure seeker. Ready to unlock incredible hotel deals? Get a free membership and save up to 50%. Stay grand. Spend less. The simplest site. The best unpublished hotel deals. TheTravelShark.com.
This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, let's return to the Mark Hoke Show as we wrap up hour number 1 of a great Memorial Day weekend full of wrestling. Just unreal things going on, and we're going to start diving into what's going to be happening inside the ring over the weekend. And we do have a little confession to make. We are recording this show because a bunch of us are going down to Double or Nothing. So just so you know. But we're going to talk a little bit about what's coming up on Saturday night's main event. And this card, whoever wins, whoever loses. And I think, to be honest with you, it's fairly obvious where this is going to all be going. But, this is going to be a fun night. And I'm going to be looking forward to seeing what happens, because everybody's going to be hearing, oh, you guys are right, you're wrong. But, Joey, what do you think of Saturday night's main event so far? You enjoying this, and you excited about this great show?
I'm not too sure of any of the matches besides the main. I think they only got 3 or 4 announced that I've seen. I know R-Truth versus Cena, Jey Uso versus Logan Paul, which unfortunately, I believe is too quick of a transition for Logan to win. So we'll see how that match ends. I know Gunther's gunning for whoever wins. So maybe we get a draw and we go to a triple threat.
Just gunning.
Yeah, you see that? You see that?
Yeah,
Gunther, new shirt, WWE. Just trip me off a little bit on that if you.
They won't.
No, they won't. But maybe we lead to a triple threat there. And then maybe we can transition that belt to Logan a little bit quicker. We'll see. That way Jey Uso doesn't have to take the pin so quickly. But
what is this? You're agreeing with me?
I don't know. Am I?
Are you?
CM Punk with Sami Zayn versus the Paul Heyman guys. I'm not too sure what their name is.
Seth and Braun.
Yeah, Seth Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker.
That'll be a fun match.
It
Sounds
should
like
be.
a bad stew, doesn't it? Seth and Braun.
I can't imagine that we're gonna not see a heel turn in this match. I'm seeing maybe a Sami Zayn turn. We can lead to a 3-on-3 pretty easily if we wanted to turn him heel.
Why is you and your dad's always your booking? Always somebody gets screwed over.
Just the way he was standing on the apron and the all black.
It's always the same with you two.
Just something about the way he looked this past week. I
mean, but we all know who's the real heel in all of this anyway. So
yeah.
As you were talking about WrestleMania before the commercial, I think they're going to try to throw Punk into the main event at next year's Mania. Agreed. Not that I want it, but I think I see it developing.
It's his dream. The main event night 2, I believe, was what came
with
out.
The championship now,
right?
So
with the Universal title. See, when I was talking to Logan Carrion, I was saying that was night 1 for the world title.
Yeah.
With the WWE Undisputed Universal, whatever they want to call it now, WWE's main belt, I couldn't book that one to save my life right now. Probably the geriatric main event, John Cena, CM Punk, The Rock. I don't know.
Cena's gone to this point if he follows through with his retirement tour.
Yeah, he's supposed to be done.
He said that once in a lifetime with The Rock, and then we got it the next year. And that was back to back Rock Cena. I'm sorry. I have a feeling that we're going to see Cena again at WrestleMania.
It would have to be Rock and Cena, and they both retired.
The way that ended last time, in wrestling. The old quotation is never say never. I bet you for it.
I think we get an appearance. I don't think we get a match.
Same thing.
No, that's not the same thing.
Phil, could they pull that off? Getting John Cena in WrestleMania, even though he said this was his last WrestleMania?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you, Phil. Somebody, this man down here has a brain.
Like, a retirement match in wrestling has always worked to retire the person.
Yeah, how many's Ric Flair had?
Right. Well, and allegedly Ric Flair's training for another one. So
you gotta be kidding me. They fit him with 5
6-man tag this time. 6-man tag.
There you go.
I love Rick. If Rick could do it.
I think Rick should win the AEW World Championship.
Bro, he's already a 21-time world champ. He doesn't need to win any more titles.
That is true, but
you see the signs on TV. 21 times.
Let's talk about AEW actually.
We're gonna save that for the second hour because I've got some stuff lined up for that. But but this Saturday night's main event, it's a fairly
doesn't do anything for me. I'm sorry. Can we scrap it and start over? Because where is Karrion Kross? Why am I seeing? I love Damian Priest. I honestly do. I think he's gotten a bad rep for some things. But get this Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. This needs to be split up very differently. I get Cena and R-Truth, but it's comedy. What are we doing? I'm sorry, Jey Uso is world champion. He should have been gone from WWE years ago. I'm sorry. Off my tangent, but
no yeet.
Copyright Casey Huffman.
Logan did it first.
Yeah. He says.
I'm pretty sure there's YouTube videos.
He copyrighted it, did he?
Boy, you guys are just.
This is what you wanted. This is why you brought us here.
I know.
Right.
To have diversity instead of you old wise men just agreeing with each other all the time.
Logan Paul and Jake Paul next year in the WrestleMania tag. How about that?
You thought you brought me in to be like the East Coast cohort.
We all know the president of wrestling is, has a little bit of a spirit to him, shall we say? A little bit of savoir faire, being a little bit of a jerk. How about that?
I think it's going to take some time for Jey Uso to grow into that. With this new, what's the curtain reveal show called? They're doing that new thing on Netflix now where they're going to do.
I forgot.
Starts with a U.
Yeah, it starts with a U.
Not Unleashed.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That show. I mean, we're very well informed here on the
Unreal.
Yes.
But they're going to do this new pull apart curtain show on Netflix. Mm-hmm. And there's a clip that I saw in the trailer where Triple H is by the ring with Jey, and he says, "We're going to push you to the moon or strap rockets to you," or something on the lines of that. Now, back in the day, we never thought that would happen for Edge, and then look at the run that Edge had. We never thought it would happen with Jeff Hardy, and then look at the run that Jeff Hardy had. We never thought it would happen with Shawn Michaels when he super kicked Marty Jannetty through the barbershop window, and then look at the career Shawn Michaels had. We've got to look at this with a bit of an open mind And he is, I mean, repetition is the essence of skill when it comes to creating a superstar. When I first saw MVP do that 305 ball in, I thought that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. 6 months later, the whole arena's doing it. Same thing with the Yeet thing. And if it's generating money, and let me tell you something, those Yeet shirts sell. So why not? You know, they're going to strap the rocket to him and see how far it goes. But it's on him, like I said, the person makes the title. It's on him what he does with it. It's in his hands. Mm-hmm. We can't just look at it like, oh, he used to come out with face paint and do the whole Samoan, you know, Uso thing. We've got to give him a chance and see what he does with it. If he does well with it, brilliant. If not, okay, Logan's there ready to take the belt off him.
Yeah, Phil, there's a lot of guys out there actually that if things don't work out, they could throw the belt on really fast. A ton of them.
That is the one nice thing WWE has done over the last several years is there's enough people in the main event picture that it isn't like, oh my gosh, somebody got injured and we have to totally scrap everything and there's no hope of finding the next champion. I think you have a good depth of individuals that you can pull from. Thank goodness. But we're probably going to get Cena and Rock and Cody and in the main event next year and Punk. Like
who's somebody that we're not looking at that isn't obvious? Who's somebody that we would go, you know what, that's a really good champion that would just like win the Royal Rumble and come out of nowhere? Because they thought they were doing that with Jay last year, and actually the sales tanked for WrestleMania. But who could they do that with now?
I'm going to throw his name out there because when he said this and explained this to me, my brain went, huh? What if it's Otis? And
wow.
But I kind of mean that seriously. Like Sammy Callahan convinced me. I was like, when you look at how he's built and imagine him just changing that little notch from being like the comedy guy to being more serious, like he gets over with kids, he starts building this base, but then he becomes aggressive with it. It's a bigger set Braun Breaker, like potentially. And so that could change. That's a very big change, and I don't think they're going to do it. But
he's even got the blonde manager if she sticks with
they
him.
had a chance to do that back in the day when he won the Money in the Bank and was beefing with Chad Gable.
Yeah, that was weird.
A lot of good storylines they seem to have potential, and then they just seem to fizzle.
Yeah, it's very strange. But when you asked that question, it was funny that you said Otis because my mind went kind of close to Otis, and that is Chad Gable. You know, Chad Gable is a guy that has just been performing so well, and they've been teasing him breaking through.
I mean, that's who I would say. I mean, to me, he's this generation's Kurt Angle, and he's got that je ne sais quoi, shall we say, where I think if you put a belt on him, and what an arrogant champion he would be. It's just hard to put it on him now when there's a lot of focus with Logan. So it's like, that's somebody I would say with the Chad Gable angle, with Penta, with Rey Fenix, and this whole luchador thing that they did, and Braun Breaker, that's somebody who I would immediately throw into the, you know, building a future main event superstar around the Universal title would 100% be Chad Gable.
It would be kind of fun if he actually wanted his El Grande Americano.
Oh, amazing.
And then took the mask off.
The mask off.
Oh, that'd be fun. I love it.
Committee right here.
Wait, what? Chad Gable's what?
You don't know that?
They're not the same person.
See, you just know who Santa Claus is now.
I forgot. Not
yeah,
the same
there's
person.
a child in the studio. Sorry, Joey.
I'm no Mark, but I don't believe that.
I don't believe that you're not a Mark.
Oh my God. We are having a blast here on the Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. So we'll be, when we get into the second hour, we're going to be talking a lot about Battleground for NXT and then really digging into AEW. Double or Nothing.
Really?
What is? Sorry, Phil.
What?
Where AEW has come from their first Double or Nothing card, and it's been a fascinating road. And I'm curious to see where these guys feel like, you know, what AEW's future is going to be, and you know where Tony Khan is actually going to take everything. This should be a real launching pad pay-per-view, I think, as we get ready for All In. And I'm excited to see who the guy is going to be that is going to be challenging for the world championship, even though I've had my pick for a long time, but we'll see how that works out. And bear with me for 1 second here, guys. Phil, give everybody real quick. What's happening with you and Revolver? Because you guys have been on an absolute tear out there, man.
We have a big run this summer of events. So we just had an event in Dayton, Ohio this past weekend. This coming weekend, we're in Richmond, Indiana. 2 weeks later, on the 14th, we're in Clive, Iowa. 2.5 weeks later, we're back in Dayton as part of the Montgomery County Fair. 2 weeks after that, we're in, I forgot, June 28th, we're in Bedford, Texas, to declare our first ever Revolver Texas champion. So we have a lot of action that's coming up in a very quick pace.
Yeah, and you guys have been doing a great job. So keep up the good work out there, Phil.
Yeah, it's one of my faves.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, we just need to make Phil the world champion out there. That would be interesting, wouldn't it, Phil? Could you pull it off? Could you do it?
If there was a world champion of radio pundits, who would get it?
Ooh.
Well, you know who's at the top of searches when you do pro wrestling radio show? This guy right here.
I think we can take him. Let's go.
Yeah. 2-on-1. You're done, Mark.
You can try. I've faced badder dudes than you, gentlemen. But we're going to come back for hour number 2 here. Ash Arkell, Joey DeFalco, Phil Stamper, as we get ready to break down a big Sunday in pro wrestling coming up with NXT and AEW. Same day. Should be a wild one. And don't forget to follow us on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, and on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show. We'd certainly appreciate it. Stick around. We got one more hour to go on The Mark Hoke Show. We'll be right back.
Talking to my mic.
Boom, boom, boom.
The Mark.
He broke it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
And we are back for hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Hope you're having a terrific Memorial Day weekend. I know we're going to be. I wish Phil Stamper was in the Anarchy in the Arena match.
Why?
Yeah. Why?
I just think it would be fun to see. Hopefully it wouldn't light you on fire. I mean,
You just want to see Phil get beat up.
I'd like to see Phil get beat up sometime.
Wait a
Just
second.
because-
having that.
You know, just because I've never.
One time I'd take skewers to the head, and now you want to see me get absolutely demolished.
Did you, Phil?
I did. There
Tell
are
us about
shirts
it.
with Deathmatch Phil shirts that have
Oh,
me with skewers coming out of my head.
Well,
Thank
healed
you,
very
Sammy
nicely.
Callahan. Do what?
It said it
Sammy
healed very nicely.
I mean, it did. I mean, and
Sammy
I
did
have
that
I
to you?
have quite the space to
Yeah.
put some skewers,
It's a large target.
as
But-
you
but-
understand.
Yeah, but Sammy did that to you?
Yeah, I saved JT Dunn, and Sammy stabbed me instead.
Wow. That is that's unfortunate, Phil. And
I'm
I,
getting Sammy Callahan's way.
Yeah.
Yeah, why are you messing
But
with
now you
Sammy
don't see him on the
Callahan?
Revolver shows, and I'm the executive vice president. So it
Speaking
works
for
out,
helping JT Dunn.
right? Actually, yeah. On that note, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm Mark Hoke. Best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. We've got Ash Arkell, Joey DeFalco, Phil Stamper in the house with us today as we get ready for what should be a fascinating Sunday in professional wrestling. And this Memorial Day weekend, even though WWE has decided once again we're going to schedule another card on top of AEW, unbelievable. It's going to be terrific for everybody. And I hope if you haven't, maybe a casual fan of pro wrestling, that you're going to take some time to watch some of this stuff, because there's going to be nonstop, pretty good talent going at it all weekend long. And I actually want to start with NXT Battleground, because we're going to be talking more AEW and getting into depth there. Here's your card, guys, for what's coming up at Battleground in Tampa. Obafemi, the champion, takes on Miles Bourne. Stephanie Vakor defends her title against Jordan Grace. That should be a pretty good one. Joe Hendry, fascinating, is defending the TNA World Championship against Trick Williams. Tony Giangelo takes on Channing Stax Lorenzo. The family is breaking up there. Sol Ruca takes on Kaylani Jordan for the North American Championship. And we got a 6-man tag, Hank and Tank and Josh Briggs taking on the Culling. We get to see a little Sean Spears action there. Ash, what do you think of that card? You know, is it enough to pull people away from AEW Double or Nothing?
Yeah. Apart from the main event with my bruv Will Ospreay, yeah, absolutely. Sol Ruca, by the way, not Rucker, Sol Ruca.
Did I slip up? I'm sorry.
She's phenomenal.
She is incredible.
Very much looking forward to that. I would like to see how Joe Henry's going to fare against Trick. Two very, well-liked fan favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie Vakir, Jordan Grace, that's been brewing for a while, like a good English cup of tea. And Obafemi, Miles Bourne, I'm not all that stoked about it. So I'm kind of happy that the main, I can just go switch to AEW, and we'll be at AEW Double or Nothing. And I'm not going to lie, I probably will be sitting in the stands watching NXT until Will Ospreay comes.
Wow. All right. Joey, what do you think of that?
You think it's exactly the same, don't you, Joey?
No. AEW's card definitely has the potential to be better. Is definitely more well-rounded pro wrestling if it wants to be, obviously, depending on how Ricochet and Mark Briscoe go out there and work. But they could have a phenomenal match if they want to go out there and work. Obviously, Ricochet's busy trying to get his heel persona over the top as much as possible.
He's auditioning for Cirque du Soleil every match.
Hey, bro, according to Mark, he's the best heel in the business right now.
What does Mark know? That's why we've got Phil here.
I got some words on that one, by the way. I got some words on that Ricochet best heel in the business right now comment. But yeah, AEW definitely has a more well-rounded card if it wants to be. Okada versus Mike Bailey should be an absolutely fantastic match. Ospreay versus Hangman, if they want to tell the story of both of them being baby faces, because it seems like Hangman's still a baby face.
Hangman needs to go hang himself.
Get that one
with
out.
The top rope, gimmick wise.
Oh yeah, back like they did in that one. Yeah. But the match rate, the card for AEW definitely has a way more higher potential of being as Dave Meltzer would put it, 5-star classic across the board than I think NXT would. NXT's got some good matches. Miles Bourne's a good worker. Him and Obi will be a great match. Trick Williams might win that TNA title.
Who are you?
Do you guys actually think, Phil, do you actually think that they would change the TNA World Championship on an NXT card?
You want eyes on your company?
Yeah, they would. They totally
want
would.
eyes on your company? Mm-hmm. It's not going to be Moose showing up randomly every 4.5 weeks to lose to somebody, even though he should be on their roster. It's a guy who worked. Trick Williams has already shown up on TNA TV. He's somebody who's easily accessible to jump back and forth for a couple months till he gets the call up. Right. He's somebody he's had the main title, I believe, for NXT twice. He's been once or twice.
I think we're going to see an LFG appearance too.
So why wouldn't they put the title on him? Let him jump back and forth, lose it to somebody over at TNA or back on another NXT pay-per-view, and right off to Raw or SmackDown, because he's been in NXT long enough. You can join Carmelo up on the main roster. Carmelo's getting that love, winning the look like the Andre the Giant Battle Royal last couple weeks ago before.
Oh, that hasn't meant anything for about
I know,
8
but
years
I
now.
just saw that. I'm like, wow. So Carmelo's getting a good push. They're taking care of him. Why wouldn't Trick Williams, who's 6'3", great worker, been in NXT a while, get that call up after maybe holding the TNA title for a little bit? Just my opinion, my idea.
Phil, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, I totally think you could change that championship. I'm still on the whole like, hey, all right. I have been a big critic of AEW for a long time because I think they can do better. I think, and I really think their last few pay-per-views have been phenomenal. I really think they've done a really good job of what they've put together on their pay-per-views more recently. I look at this one and I'm like, I don't see the potential. I see individual matches because I also agree. I think Okada and Mike Bailey. I think Will Ospreay will do well. Maybe not as opponent, but I think Will Ospreay will do well. But then that's where it starts falling apart for me. If I'm being very, very honest, there's some things I seriously question. So I agree. I think NXT is the better, more solid event right now.
See, only person here with a brain.
Right.
Right.
I said the
problem I have with AEW,
potential.
it's the same old Tony Khan. I call it the butt licking fan club. It's always the same people that's going to get put over.
Come on, bro.
You're not going to miss anything.
Nigel's on the card.
Yeah.
Nigel's working.
What, because he's British? I got a lot.
Yeah, man. That's your deal.
Come on.
You must have not read that properly earlier. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
I'm from the Mid-Atlantic and I like FTR. Like,
well, what about Jordan Grace and Stephanie McCourt in this NXT card? Is it maybe time to give Jordan the championship in there?
No, this is going to be a match where this is going to be a go. Like in the wrestling business, you're going to see a match. This is one that's been brewing for a while. This one has to go. These two have to just everything pedal to the floor, crank that up to 11, like Spinal Tap. These two have got to do a Shawn and Brett. These two have got to go at each other.
With nothing you'll see on Botchamania. and I kind of mean that because they need it. They both need it. I think they're both. Yeah. I think everybody thinks highly of both of them. I mean, Stephanie wouldn't have the championship if they didn't. Jordan wouldn't be there if they didn't. But there was all this criticism, about what was it? Maybe 3-4 weeks ago about where their performances were or were not in the ring, and it's like you don't want that being questioned at that level, and so you need to prove everybody, as I am very confident in, that you belong there. So I agree. Put the pedal to the floor and perform at your absolute A+ best. And show everybody what you can do because you can.
Especially with the main event that's coming afterwards. Like, they have to steal it to the point where it's like, can you top that?
Yeah, this will be, there are some people that have some stuff to prove on this NXT card. Miles Bourne getting his shot, in the main event of the night. The Tony D'Angelo and Stacks match, it's a chance for one of those guys to pull up a little bit. They've been working together, so now someone's going to get elevated on this.
I don't understand how you've got Shawn Michaels in Gorilla and you're not trying to outperform everybody else on the card when you've got Shawn Michaels in Gorilla. Like, it's beyond me. I'm sorry, Tony D'Angelo falls flat with me. It's like going to like the best Italian restaurant and it being cooked by Mexicans. It just falls flat for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, but I am a little excited to see the ladies match and see what happens with Joe Hendry and Trick. And I don't think they're going to change the title on there. But Joe's contract's coming up pretty soon, so I mean he's going to be working for WWE anyway.
100%. And the issue that we've got, or the situation, should I say, around Joe Hendry and Trick Williams is with the way the rest of the card is looking. The way that they're going to get over both of them is by doing the very classic old school Daniel Bryan. In England, we call it the holiday camp match, the Bryan Dixon match, which is you're very much your camp pantomime style wrestling match. If we can see not Trick going out there being, I'm the big tough, big dude, and we don't get Joe Hendry with this, I just want to prove myself, Joe Hendry. We go out there and they give us some entertainment. And we see another side of Trick and we see another side of Joe Hendry where they have a match but it's got some entertainment value.
Got some
to
oomph to it, a little
and
nastiness.
No, I wouldn't say nastiness. I want to see something different from them because they're two fan favorites, and I want to see something that can be brought out. Like, not every match has to go out there and be do or die, fight to the death. Sometimes you can go out there and try and outshine somebody, and that's what I'd like to see. We got that. If you ever watched the beginning of Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 21, there's that little jockeying for position, and then they step into their element. But what if their element is entertainment? You get that with old Dude Love matches or Santino matches. I don't want it to be too comedy like that, but let's see if they can give us a different variety of match than what else is on the card. Because if everything is, oh, I just got to go out there and outperform, you're trying too hard. It's oh God, we used to say it back in the day in the UK. Sorry, listeners, my mind's drawn a blank as it does. But you know, it's yeah, you're trying too hard.com. Do you know what I mean?
Phil, what do you think of that?
I can see that. My brain is going, I'm waiting for a spot where Trick tries to go for an RKO and Henry's like, what? No. And then that starts to bring them up. So that way you get a comedy, but then you get a touch of like, oh, so you want me to go there, and that steps it up a little bit in the game. So I'm interested in what they do. I really kind of want to see. I will say I don't follow NXT as closely as the other products, just because I'm a little overwhelmed with my wrestling watching and being. But I think this, like I said, I think this whole card just has so much potential.
You know what they should both do is take notes from Cena and R-Truth the night before, because those two are going to show you exactly what I mean by it doesn't have to be one of those matches and it's just pure entertainment. R-Truth and John Cena are going to absolutely provide that on Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, so this will be an interesting night with NXT coming up for sure, as we see if any of these championships do change hands. Once again, you know, we've got the NXT title, the women's title, the TNA World Championship, North American title, all on the line coming up at NXT Battleground. Should be a lot of fun. But guys,
be quiet, Joey.
You know,
too much. People need to get a word in.
Sorry.
You know,
Apologize.
But I have to just say, guys, I am pumped about this card coming up for AEW Double or Nothing, and we're going to talk about it when we return on the Mark Hoke Show. It is going to be something special. So stick around, everybody. We got a whole lot more on the Mark Hoke Show coming up. And I screwed up. That's okay.
Because it's recorded.
Yeah,
that doesn't matter.
That's okay. You know what? I can cut that. So, guys, this is going to be an awesome card coming up here on NXT Battleground. But I got to say, guys, I am very excited that we're going to get to a massive card for AEW Double or Nothing. I cannot wait. And
you're only excited because I'm driving you there. You get to drink, and I've booked a fancy Airbnb.
Oh,
that's why you're excited.
I don't know about that.
All right, find your own way there then. Yes, Phil, if you want to come next time, give us a shout.
Yeah, there you go. All right, everybody, stick around. We got a whole lot more coming up as we get ready for AEW Double or Nothing on the other side of the break on the Mark Hoke Show. Ash Arkell, Joey DeFalco, Phil Stamper. We will be right back.
I feel like I need a new radio.
Looking for high-quality custom screen printing in Las Vegas? Look no further than Off-Grid Creations. Need a few custom t-shirts for a local event, band merchandise, or family reunion? We've got you covered. Large order of uniforms for your staff, sports team, or club? We can handle that too. Our experienced team will work closely with you throughout the entire process from design consultation to final product. Call us at 661-300-1115. That's 661-300-1115. Or visit our website at off-gridcreations.com. Get a free consultation today.
Hey there, adventure seeker. Ready to unlock incredible hotel deals? Get a free membership and save up to 50%. Stay grand. Spend less. The simplest site, the best unpublished hotel deals. TheTravelShark.com.
Now, let's return to the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
And we are back on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. I'm doing a lot of work right now that I don't enjoy very much, but that's okay. We're having a blast with Phil Stamper, Joey DeFalco, and Ash Arkell.
We should change the name of the show to the Phil and Ash Show.
The what?
The Phil and Ash Show.
Well, that doesn't work for
Yeah,
me.
Phil-
The Filling Ass Show, didn't you hear him?
It's got a ring to it.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, but what a ring.
Yeah.
The Feeling Ass Show?
Oh.
That's what I heard.
Right, that's kind of
Oh,
yeah.
But I just
There
said
you
during
go.
the break. I just said during the break we should give me a new radio name because Ash Arkell sounds like a Shark L. And I can't say my first name because then people make fun of me. So I feel like we should change my name to like
What's your
Art
first name?
Kelly or something. You know.
Well, I'm curious. What's your first name?
Oh, don't worry about that, Phil. We don't know. It's Ashley.
Oh, that's all right. We'll forgive you, Ash. It's
Yeah.
all good. All right. So coming up tonight, it is AEW Double or Nothing. But before I get into tonight's card, this is the 7th Double or Nothing. And it has been a fascinating road when you look back for AEW. So many ups and downs with injuries and some questionable booking at times, but some of it forced because of things that happened. But going through Double or Nothing, the first one was the main event was Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, as they were looking to see who was going to be the inaugural AEW World Champion at All Out. You had the second one. Anybody remember the second one? Can anybody remember the second?
Was it
main
Cody?
event? No, it was not Cody. Not Cody. There were two major matches that
That
were
shows
listed
you
on
how
here.
good it was.
It would have been Jericho defending.
That is incorrect.
Oh, that is incorrect.
That is
Wow.
incorrect. Phil, do you remember the second one? See if we can get it.
Is it the
Googling
first?
it now.
I totally am. Was it the first Stadium Stampede match? Was that the main event though?
That was one of them. Yeah, there was a Stadium Stampede match. It was Matt Hardy and the Elite against the Inner Circle, which kind of got that whole thing started. But Moxley defended the AEW World Championship against Brody Lee.
Yeah.
Actually won it that quick. Wow.
Yeah, I forgot about it too, to be honest with you. Third Double or Nothing. This was also in Jacksonville during the COVID era. Inner Circle against the Pinnacle and Stadium Stampede. Then we were back here in Las Vegas. You guys got to remember that first main event back in Las Vegas. Anybody remember that? Oh my
It
gosh.
wasn't Moxley Omega.
No, somebody won the world championship.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Come on, Ash, you got it.
Oh,
I'll let Phil take this one, but I think it's Mr. Voice of the Voiceless himself.
Phil, is he right? Come on.
2000,
yeah, it's my
Yeah.
namesake.
Yeah.
Yeah, CM Punk won the world
Yeah.
championship against Hangman Adam Page. Then we had the Blackpool Combat Club in the fifth one, taking on the Elite and the Anarchy in the arena match.
That was terrible. I was there.
It was, yeah. And then last year we had the Elite taking on Team AEW, and boy,
I
how
was there for that one. That was horrible as well. They were promoting Reebok shoes.
yeah, the super kicks with Darby Allin hanging upside down and
Yeah.
Jack Perry getting lit.
Flamethrowers and all sorts of God knows what.
Yeah, it was pretty insane. So we get to Glendale, Arizona coming up here on Sunday night as we have, the main event of, actually the main event now is apparently going to be Will Ospreay taking on Hangman Adam Page. And guys, I'm excited about this. I think this is going to be a pretty good clash. Ospreay's winning. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Do you guys have any doubt Ospreay's going to all in with this Owen Hart victory?
None at all.
No. Wow, Phil?
I'm with Ash. I mean, I'm sorry. Adam Page has never been there for me. So Will Ospreay.
Will Ospreay. All right, here we go. We're all down.
Bruv.
Yeah,
Joey, is it Will Ospreay?
It's got to be Will Ospreay. Like, there's no. Hangman again. I don't think the office wants to see that.
Adam
No,
doesn't
I-
show up in
I don't
his
think
living
anyone
room
wants to
and
see
he's
that,
burning
including
down
The
Will
Office.
Ospreay's childhood home.
So-
I mean,
Well, the thing about Will Ospreay to me is I feel like he's really taken on a leadership role and standing out front of AEW right now. He has been absolutely phenomenal in waving the AEW banner for sure. I mean, he's taken on WWE, not messing around.
It's not just that; he's a class human being. He's all round like just a good boy, and I don't say that in a patronizing way, like London terminology. Like he's a good boy. Yeah, class human being, and nobody like. I think that once he gets this title, I hope that they, really, attach the cart to him and let that workhorse pull it, because he might get a different thing, because it's always the same people. Like in most promotions, you're always going to get those people that are the cliquey favorites of the promoter. You've got Mercedes Moné, Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, The Elite, MJF, name some others. Don
Moxley.
Alice and Moxley. Yeah, oh my God. Moxley. I mean, come on. I mean, put that bloke in a bar in London and tell him to walk through like that with Wild Thing going on and watch how far he gets to the bar. He won't make it. I'm not buying it. Same with Hangman Adam Page. Like, are you a cowboy? Are you like trying to do some sort of Undertaker gimmick? Are you a rough talking, horse rider? All he seems to do is whine. I don't get it. Like, but Ospreay is authentically Will Ospreay. And that's what I like about Will. He's the only reason I tune into AEW. He's a mate, and his missus is a mate of mine, and his son, I love Harry, he's great. But I'm not biased for that reason. It's because he's completely authentic, and he's not trying to blend in with the Americans like another certain British person that works at another company who can't decide whether his accent is English or American. And I guess you can figure out who I'm talking about. But Will is being authentically himself, bruv. And I like it. And it took a while for people to warm to him. But God, I can't wait for them to attach that wagon to him. The problem with AEW is the man booking.
Well, we'll get to that in a little bit, but I want to chime in on Ospreay too, because, when I got the chance to interview him and you see what he does when he's performing and when he's cutting promos, you just, that's a guy that I'd follow into battle. I would enjoy if I was working with him, that, man, that's a guy that is going to set the standard and I'm going to follow him, man. He seems like a great role model, not just outside the ring, but inside the ring too. I mean, he's special, and that is, to me, is really infectious when I watch him, Phil.
I mean, and you can feel it. I mean, that's why it's infectious. I think one of the challenges that has happened over the last couple of years with AEW, like I said, though, the last couple of pay-per-views, I really enjoyed. I really thought, wow, I feel like they're cleaning up so much. But then I watched Dynamite and I'm like, why does this still feel the same when the pay-per-views are turning out better? Okay, what's going on here? I know, from the way it looks on camera and some of the things behind the scenes with like John Moxley going, we need to fix this ship. Like, this is not going well. And you're seeing that on camera, but I think it's also carrying on backstage. And I agree with that. But then I think he's become part of that problem too, by leading it at the same time instead of making the change in the back. So I feel like Will Ospreay is the person who can be the representative face of that change and let the change start riding with him, and maybe other things will start trickling down and adjusting themselves.
Yeah, I could be completely wrong here, but I think it's because of their long-term booking. And what you've got a lot of is, and I don't mean to put any disrespect towards Tony, but Tony's kind of like the kid in the at recess in the playground with bubblegum, wanting everybody to be his friend. And he's got ideas for long-term booking with his agents, but then people are running up to him going, oh, but Tony. And then he's going, oh, okay. And then changing it. And that's the problem. But with Will, I think when Will stepped in, there was some sort of creative thing where he was like, I do not want to be scrambled and things changing along the way. And he's set a course. Not only that, he comes from that, and not to, pat ourselves on the back being British, but we follow a standard in soccer, what we call football, in locker rooms and dressing rooms. And it's always to keep that discipline and keep things running in a smooth order. And I think Will brings that to the locker room. He may not be the official locker room leader, but he's the one everyone's looking to, because how is he holding these spots and keeping everything consistent throughout all this mismatch that is the AEW booking?
Well, Joey, let me ask you this about the Death Riders and where this whole thing has gone, because a lot of people have been very critical of this storyline. But I think that there was more to it than just what was happening inside the ring. I think Phil, you said it, that they are looking to send a message when they first did this with Mox and said, we got to all step this up. Now, we should be doing better than what we're doing. It's not happening. We've got to all pull together. And I feel like you can, and as somebody coached for 20 years, I can kind of see that the way everybody's been going out and just doing things at a higher level. And they seem like, while, you're performing out there and you have your friends and your enemies, but as a group, it seems like they've gotten it together. It's not totally there yet, but they're making a move in the right direction where I think they feel like they're tired of everybody or busting their chops and telling them that, look, you guys suck and everything else and can't book, and guys, everybody's screwing up all the time. They're at a place where I feel like they're about to really break through, and they're building it up to the point at All In with what I would expect to be Ospreay's victory to kind of finish that out. Do you feel like that?
Honestly, that is the one group, unfortunately, that after a couple bookings and a couple things I've watched, it's like I had no interest in continuing.
Not only that, Mark, that was the longest winded question I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, I've heard worse.
You broke the world record for the longest radio question I've ever heard.
Trust me, I didn't.
But it was like a couple finishes. It's like him with Daniel Bryan, I remember, was a weird one. It's like even a couple months ago, it was like the finish to that Edge and Christian, when Christian cashed in the contract and became a triple threat. And it's like, really, that was the finish to the match. It was like all that build for Edge to get the singles again. Cope, Adam, whatever he's going by, the trademark expired. Then WWE realized it expired, so they re-got it, even though they let it expire. Who knows the story? But it's like they built that up, and then Christian goes to cash in, and it's like, okay, at least you're expecting at least a new champ. It's like Moxley's stale at that point. I think it was close to a year after beating Daniel Bryan, and then maybe not. My timeline's all messed up, but he's had the belt for a while, probably the third time now, so it's not like he's only first won it. We've seen this before. And then just after that finish to the match where he Bulldog choked out, I think, Christian, even though, like, if he would have pinned him with the one hand, that would have been a great finish. Oh my God, Christian steals it, blah, blah, blah. But it's like Jon Moxley wins again. And it's like nobody reacted because it was like, yeah, they did react. It was
because there's that old saying, if you confuse them, you lose them.
Like nobody wanted to see that finish. Edge was hot. Edge was the new guy, came back from an injury, and it's like, oh, he's going to win it. And then he doesn't win it. It's like nobody had interest in him earning another title shot or seeing Moxley go after somebody else. It's like Moxley's just going to fucking win somehow. Sorry for
that. Oh, you can't swear on Dawning Radio, Joey. People are going to church.
I know it's Vegas.
Sorry, Las Vegas. I apologize. You think the East Coast guy would be the one swearing from Wrestling Revolver? No.
Maryland is the most vulgar state in the United States. I'm just putting
I've heard.
Sorry, Jon Moxley brings out the angst in me. The
angst.
See, and look, I know everybody didn't like the finish to that match either, but I still feel like they're building to All In to completely pass the torch away from Moxley. Maybe that one. Yeah, I was there. It was pretty much a stunning, weird end to a match.
Mm-hmm.
But in the overall picture, I think that AEW is finding their way to kind of change the guard a little bit.
Shouldn't they have found it by now?
Yeah, well, but they're telling the story. They're telling the story. They're building to WrestleMania. Go ahead, Phil. Hit me.
This is just going to be weird. For a while in TNA, there was this whole thing where it's like they would never finish a story. Like they would do a match and it's like, oh, here's the culmination. And then weird, not really the ending, but then they never have an ending and they go on to the next thing. I feel like AEW is doing the opposite. They're just sticking and not realizing when they need to let go of something.
Mhm.
And let it go, because you could have finished it, and where it's like a song that just won't end. It's I'm
like
trying
the
to think of
Saints
this.
with Drew Brees. Do you know what I mean? He's not going to win.
Right.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's too much. And again, this is coming from a place of like, we all want AEW to succeed. And now we're starting to see, even in WWE, that everyone was so excited when here's Triple H, and now it feels like the cracks are coming in on themselves. And some of that may have to do with other forces, like what does TKO want? What does The Rock do? But is it coming back to be the old WWE the way it was? It's just now Triple H.
You've got to change. The problem is, and this is what I've said from day one when I was, entered into this business, which is nearly my whole life, there's got to be somewhere else for us to go. Because what you've got people like Roman Reigns, right? Or John Cena, who are the Brad Pitt of Hollywood. And then all of the rest of us are just doing community theater, thinking that WWE is going to look at us like the NFL draft and go, that's the new superstar. It's never going to happen. There needs to be territories. There needs to be a system where there's somewhere else for people to go. There's far too many belts. WWE's buying those companies. So technically they're WWE belts now. They don't mean jack diddly, because I can't swear, Joey, because it's Sunday morning radio. They don't mean jack diddly, right? And there needs to be somewhere else a place to go. That's why Phil's saying we want AEW to succeed, but it's not, because everything is just a cardboard cutout, carbon copy of WWE. There needs to be something different. Lucha Underground was at least a little bit of flavor. And that's why, Phil, I say I like Wrestling Revolver, because Sammy's put his own edge on it. And now he's doing statewide titles. I love things like that, because we're establishing territories. And that's exactly what I want to do in Las Vegas. I want to establish a territory on the West Coast. And then I want to build 15 more of them. And then I want the territories to come back. The Rock was in a movie about my family where my dad's trying to flog WAW shares. And I want to flog him the WAW shares now that I've got creative control. And what I want to do is I want to tell him, you were a footballer and you didn't make it, and you're an amazing pro wrestler. Now you're doing this UFL league where you're trying to get footballers another shot to make it because you didn't do it and you went to Canada. Well, how about this? Why don't you restore the territories? Because the last territory to ever exist was your grandmother's. Why don't we go build the territories again and have somewhere else where we can take the ex people from WWE and the up and comers for WWE and give them a new title to win? But it's not every month and week because I hate your sister and I want a title shot. I want it to be because we plan it like a league, and there's playoffs from territories, and then from all around the world, a real world tournament that could take place here every year in Las Vegas, or places like the Tokyo Dome or at Wembley. And let's bring the territories back and give another title for people to argue. Is WWE and the sports entertainment champion the real wrestling champion? MMA, they've got mixed martial arts with the UFC. But what if there was this territory system where pro wrestling stood thing? No scripts. Wrestler A has a finish. Wrestler B has a finish. The judges are by the ring. Legends from those territories, and they call the finish to the referee at the end. Get real emotions, bring out the Twitter storylines, and have a real passionate territory system where there's somewhere else for these wrestlers to go and make a name for themselves. And then when they're done and they've won 7 rings like Tom Brady, then maybe they diddle daddle off to the WWE and go do the sports entertainment stuff. But this is why I'm trying to bring pro wrestling and make Las Vegas the pro wrestling capital of the world. Is there needs to be somewhere else for people to go. And that's why we want AEW to succeed. But it's not, because the problem is like Jimmy Carr said on the Joe Rogan podcast, show me a trust fund kid and I'll show you a tormented soul. The man has got no creativity because he hasn't lived the real life. But this man has. And I want to make it happen. I want the territories back. That's what I want. I want people to go anywhere that they want and make money. And that's what they need to learn to do and be themselves. Not this kissy, oh, thank you, WWE. Can I have some more, please? No, forget that. Let's bin that off. You go do your WWE thing over there and you go play make-believe Disneyland, and we'll go over here and just give TKO, The Rock. If you're listening, if you ever hear this, give me a call. Let's figure out a way to bring the territories back, because
Uncle Gabe ain't doing it. I'm not happy with the way Uncle Gabe is trying to pull off Evolve. This is not working when 100 people show up in Vegas for the WWE ID tournament. Like, what has gone wrong? Even though I like a lot of the people they have for WWE ID, don't get me wrong. But the way they're doing that is also goofy and weird. It's like, well, we don't,
because at the end of it, what do you really win?
Yeah.
You become a reserve. You win the reserves bench.
you're
No,
great.
nice.
That's-
Well done. Whoop-de-whoop. Oh, you got another belt out of the 26 other belts that exist?
Yeah.
Sorry, listeners. I'm getting a bit passionate.
Yeah,
here,
you're fired up, Ash
but
Arkell.
hey, but let me tell you something. This is my business. I am the business. I grew up in this business. Just because you don't see me on YouTube matches or anywhere, there's not a locker room I haven't been in or a person I haven't influenced in this business. And I love this business, but it's not the business the way that we see it. We're all sitting around going, oh, I wonder what they're going to write next. Oh, what? Who's going to play Barbie next? No, we don't care.
Well, let me throw something out, Ash, before we go to break.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. You got a rant. It's good. It's all good.
Breathe.
But I feel like right now that there is a situation happening in professional wrestling where it's almost getting narrowed down to WWE is trying to take over the planet and AEW is standing in the way.
No,
and that is the well, they're buying every territory. They're
buying well-established independent brands in different countries. Like they're going to get New Japan. They're doing AAA. And let me tell you something else.
Let me finish my thought.
Okay.
So they're taking over all these. So what are they going to do with them? They're going to make everybody wrestle the WWE style at some point.
They're going to make it obsolete.
Yeah. And without AEW in the way, professional wrestling goes the way of as like it was in 2005. It will.
There's guys like us here.
This is what they're doing, like they did in the 70s when they took out all the big regionals and made the WWF into the WWF, and they strong armed all these people that were the top promotions of the time in eras and
like Saturday.
Great. And
yeah,
so,
it's a larger
well,
scale takeover.
Here's what they did. You remember my dad, Ricky Knight. Like we came from pro wrestling territories. We traveled around Europe in caravans. That's how we lived. Mm-hmm. And what you got to remember is, like in America, you guys call them buffalo, but they're not buffalo. They're bison. You're calling it pro wrestling because it's the norm now, but it's not pro wrestling. It's sports entertainment. Pro wrestling died on Black Saturday. That was the territories. That was professional wrestling when everybody believed it was real and there was grandmas throwing handbags with bricks in them at Harley Race and Ric Flair. That is pro wrestling. This is sports entertainment and we're calling it pro wrestling like we call a bison a buffalo. Buffalo live in Africa, mate, get eaten by crocodiles. Those are just big woolly things that run through tornadoes. Those are called bison.
I went to North Dakota State and, we're the bison. We got it.
It's a bison. And it's sports entertainment. It's not pro wrestling.
I got what you're saying, brother. All right, we got to get to break here. One more segment to go. We'll see if we can pour a little cold water on Ash Arkell, let him breathe for a minute.
There's some very good herbals stores around here that I might pop off to for the next 15 minutes.
Joey DeFalco, Phil Stamper here on the Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the Talk of Las Vegas, the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. Stick around. We got a whole lot more coming up as we wrap it up. See you on the other side.
Looking for high-quality custom screen printing in Las Vegas? Look no further than Off-Grid Creations. Need a few custom t-shirts for a local event, band merchandise, or family reunion? We've got you covered. Large order of uniforms for your staff, sports team, or club? We can handle that too. Our experienced team will work closely with you throughout the entire process from design consultation to final product. Call us at 661-300-1115. That's 661-300-1115 or visit our website at off-gridcreations.com. Get a free consultation today.
Hey there, adventure seeker. Ready to unlock incredible hotel deals? Get a free membership and save up to 50%. Stay grand. Spend less. The simplest site. The best unpublished hotel deals. TheTravelShark.com.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
And we return to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN. Final segment as we prepare for a wild Memorial Day weekend. Ash is fired up. He's ready to.
You just told me to calm down. He just told me off while everybody was listening to commercials. I just got told off.
He had the oxygen mask on and everything.
Yeah,
it's okay.
There wasn't oxygen in it though.
You are in Vegas. I forgot.
Yes, we are in Vegas, the home of WrestleMania 42. Apparently, unbelievable. Oh, wow.
Which is great because I wanted I think Minnesota was up for 41. I didn't want Vegas WrestleMania this year that we just had it. I wanted it when it's going to be 42. So I'm kind of happy about that. Plus, we thought like we'd missed the boat with the whole top rope venture. And now we get a second chance. So I'm over the moon about that, but I'm not over the moon about the amount of work that I've got to do. I had a conversation with my business partner this morning on the phone, and there was a lot of screaming going on. And it was like, do you know how much work I've got to do? And he was like, yeah, but I believe in you.
Okay, Bo Dallas, we got you, man.
Yeah.
We got you.
Believe.
Yeah, we do believe. I do want to talk a little bit more about the card. We got a little off track there, but that's okay because it was a pretty fun discussion. Boy, Megan Bain gets stuck in a tag match. That's depressing. She came in and
it's buried in quicksand. So
maybe on a card.
Yeah. Hurt Syndicate. You guys like them?
Mm-hmm.
They've been pretty impressive, Phil.
I agree. I think I look at this match though, and I'm like, okay, so we're gonna see the MJF involvement. We're gonna see this. We're gonna see that. We're like, I think there's gonna be random hoopla. Like, I'm actually not wanting this, but I'm gonna call it Dustin Rhodes and Sammy win because I think there's gonna be too much shenanigans going on with the Hurt Syndicate.
And they seem to be doing that too much, where there's always too much interference within matches. They don't just let matches be matches anymore.
Right.
And the other question I have is, where on earth are Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley where is the Fountain of Youth? Because what is going, and R-Truth as well, what is going on? These guys just aren't aging and they're getting better. And I know Billy Gunn's invited to the cookout because they're giving him some as well. I'm not kidding.
He was there first.
I swear they found it.
He was there
the
first.
Caribbean 4. They know where it is.
Is Billy sick? I think Billy's 60 now, is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Good Lord. That's unreal. But yeah, so we got the Hurt Syndicate taking on the Sons of Texas. Timeless Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa. And Jesus, Joey. Tony's lost her mind. But it's fun. It's different.
People love them. She had the longest line at WrestleCon. Her and Paige Saraya had the longest lines at WrestleCon. I was like, why does Mina have a line wrapped pretty much around the whole room? I didn't get it. I didn't understand. But she is a hidden treasure, I guess, that I did not know about. that everybody all of a sudden was a huge fan of just from that short stint before with Tony. I don't know if that's what did it. Like, I hadn't heard of her, and I'm a wrestling guy. I know people. But before that, I hadn't heard much of her. And then all of a sudden, she was with Tony doing the stuff with Mariah May. And then now signed to the company. And, 2 months ago at WrestleMania, pretty much a month ago, had a line wrapped around the room.
Yeah, no doubt about that. FTR takes on Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness, and normally I wouldn't be excited about this match except for one thing. I get to see Nigel McGuinness.
And he gets to do does Daniel Garcia still do the
Phil, are you, I mean, Phil, this could be a good match. Just,
I think that there is potential for it to be a good match. And that's just it. Again, maybe I'm wrong. On paper, I'm not liking this pay-per-view as much as I've liked some of the other recent AEW stuff. Maybe I'm wrong. And that this is going to like shotgun us all away and be like, oh my gosh, this was 8 stars.
That's wishful thinking there, Phil.
I agree. See, I'm not like...
I'd rather be in Tampa, but I got to go Phoenix.
Yeah, well,
wow. Well, go to Tampa.
I will, but then how are you getting to Phoenix?
Uber.
You need
from Vegas.
My God, they just lost control of the show.
Listen, I agree with what he said. It has potential, but my butt has potential to produce a fart. That doesn't mean nothing in wrestling. The FTR, again, falling flat. But the fact that you're having to get Nigel McGuinness off the commentary desk, step in the ring with Danny Garcia. Can somebody give this guy some creatine and tell him to do some extra push-ups? But like FTR, like
I do like Garcia. I am a fan of Garcia.
Oh, I'm sure he's a lovely bloke, but in a fight, my knees aren't quivering.
The thing about Garcia to me is that, I agree. It would be nice to see him bulk up a little bit, but at the same time, when he goes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he doesn't really put on any bad matches.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. But that's like, Mark, that's like going on a date going, listen, I know I'm really boring at dinner, but I'm very good in bed. It doesn't work. The poster needs to sell it. The one thing about Roman Reigns, you don't know, even if you had never watched wrestling in the world, you go, yeah, that guy's going to do something. The
girls love Roman.
Aquaman,
all the girls. Oh, who's that? Oh, who's that? Oh, let me grab his Instagram.
It's a draw.
Instantly.
Danny Garcia looks like he's just fallen off the male review at Thunder from Down Under or Magic Mike.
Same thing with Orton.
On the strip.
Trust me, there's some fans who like that too.
Feels right.
Everybody's got their types. Mark Briscoe, Ricochet, stretcher match.
Best heel in the business, right, Joe?
According to Mark, best heel in the business. Ricochet.
Phil, I know you want to enjoy. It's like you guys want to enjoy these matches.
Yeah. They're good on paper. They're great on paper.
Every wrestling fan is tuning in to want to enjoy it. It's just we're tired of getting let down.
If this was at PWG, this card would be fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, here's the thing. I do believe that when wrestlers go to different promotions, sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. It just depends on where they're at. Like Tony Storm. I think Tony has gone amazing at AEW. I think this has been her opportunity. Ricochet, I'm like, imagine if he had this heel turn at WWE, what they would have done with it. Now they didn't let him go heel because whatever reason. But like, I could imagine how he would have been formulated in a WWE product as the heel, as the top heel in wrestling. I'm like, there I could see him achieve what I think he's trying to say he's doing. Here, it's like, but I kind of do like seeing a different side of Ricochet. He's still an amazing, talented wrestler.
It's almost like he failed there and now he's doing it here. It just doesn't work when you've switched. If he'd done it there and then transitioned as a heel, like you said, to AEW, it might have held more sauce. But at the moment, it's got no sauce.
Is that his
comedy
fault?
heel? Like, and he wasn't. I don't know. Sometimes
because Logan is literally like not liked and he's running with it. Yeah. Ricochet's genuinely, and I like Trev, but like he's genuinely not liked, and then he's trying to spin it like he's Logan Paul. Nah, bruv, not working. Because here's the thing: how do you make the flippy guy the bad guy? What he does an even more do me a flip. It's like Dragon Ball Z. Oh, I wear red and black and I have fire now. He can't do that. All you've got to make you heel is this, and how to really annoy the fans. I want to say, a bleep word, but bleep the fans off. Do you know what I mean? And he's not doing it. He's doing it because they genuinely don't like him.
Yeah, fair enough. Okada and Speedball Mike Bailey.
That might be match of the night.
It could.
If Okada wants to stop with some of the again, not loving what I saw when he first got there. Oh, F you, and doing what he was doing. It's like best wrestler in the world. Obviously, again. Here's a lot of money. You've been working your A off for 15 years in Japan. We loved you when we were over there. Now you're in the States. Take it easy. And here's money. Okay. Like, why would you go out there and have 5-star classics where you're trying to go crazy and burn down the entire building? And it's like,
the one thing in my brain about this match is having put together matches with Mike Bailey. He has a particular style to him on how a match is going to happen. And there's part of my brain that he will do whatever it takes to be like, we're doing this.
Yeah.
and so I feel like that's what it keeps pushing me over. Like, I think it's going to happen this way, because the other thing that everyone was saying about Mike Bailey when he first got to AEW is like, he'll be there for like a month and like everybody will see him. And then like, he'll fade into the background. Like other people have said, other people have. And I'm like, I don't know. And he hasn't. So I'm like, I think this has a good, again, it's a great potential. I think this, you're right. This might be the sleeper match of the night.
Because Mike is authentically, again, being himself. And that's always going to carry over to the fans. The problem I have with Okada, when I met Okada, my brother Zach took me backstage last year at Double or Nothing, and I met Okada. I looked at Zach and went, that's Okada. Like that guy, when you see him, like in the image I'm looking at now on the computer screen, he looks like the most intimidating CEO you've ever met in your life from some huge conglomerate in Japan. And then you meet him and he's the most simple, softest bloke. I want Okada to be like the evil emperor and like arrogant businessman style wrestler, like almost like a Nick Bockwinkel from Asia.
He hasn't gotten turned. It feels like he hasn't gotten turned loose.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But maybe Michael bring that out of him, and I think that's what Joey and Phil are trying to point on.
And eventually, they're pointing to him and Kenny Omega hooking it back up, which could really propel those two guys to a new level for sure, at least in the United States. Jamie Hayter, Mercedes Moné. I'm not
the bathroom. I would say the bathroom break.
Wow.
I want to remind you, Mark, that we had an episode one time where we were talking about this, and I was like, Mercedes, nope, I'm done. And she'd only been there like a couple months. And you and Stu Myrick sat there and were like, I can't believe you would say this. And then like 2 weeks later, Stu was on this show going, I hate her. I wish she was gone. I think she's worn out her welcome. Like, no, I'm sorry.
No.
Just no.
I don't think I've watched a single
Mercedes
match, but
Moné.
I have no interest in. I have no interest to. From what I've seen clips, it's like no buzz, no interest. You're this hot free agent.
All sizzle, no bang.
Months late. Way too late. It took way too long for her to get there with the buzz and the circulation. She was doing great in Japan, I believe, right before that. And then all of a sudden she got there and it's like, who cares?
All sizzle.
Who cares?
No bang.
Does she need Bailey?
No. She needs her head checked.
I say she needs I don't know. But what she's doing right now ain't working. Go back to the Fed if Triple H will have you. Triple H should love you. So
there was
she was over Sasha Banks. Crowd loved her. Now all of a sudden it's like world's against you. Not the whole world, obviously, but
when people have to step away because they have to step away, you have to get your head straight for whatever reason. It happens, and Moné needed to happen. It has not worked. Her coming to AEW, and maybe it's because at WWE there were actually people who were fighting for her. When she did that interview with Steve Austin, and I'm listening to the people she's giving credit to, and doesn't give credit to the people that were helping her. Right. I'm like, I think this is your death now. And then she left. And I'm like, yep. Saw that on the wall. So I'm like, oh, now you don't have the support system where there's other people like backing you other than your name. And so your name brought you to the table and you're like, look at me. I am the boss. Now I'm blending which one.
Bang.
Whatever.
What she needs to do is go to somewhere like Progress where you've got up and coming female wrestlers like Rio and go and like not bring yourself down a level, but do what Cody did and go on the indies and show that you can bang. Do you know what I mean? And show that you can have banger after banger after banger after banger. Not to quote Sheamus, but banger after banger after banger. And then do that. And then you're going to earn the fans' respect and then go back. This whole, all right, you're Snoop Dogg's cousin. Whoop.
I know she did House of Glory and did a couple of those pop-ups. But she won the belt there. I'm pretty sure her first match. And then she lost it to Indy Hartwell a couple weeks ago, month ago. But it's like
it doesn't matter. It's how you lose.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But she's the I need to go over type of girl. She's not going to put over. She's not going to come in and put over your talent. Cody went on a 2-year before he hit Japan. He was on the independents for 1.5 years, 2 years, working whoever, doing whatever, coming down, working for Sin for Freak Show Wrestling because he knew Sin. He was working and happy to work with you on his rate. He just was happy to work and get his name back out there. And then he started working with the Young Bucks. He got in a Ring of Honor. And then all of a sudden he blew up. And then AEW happened. And now we're where we are now. Obviously, he's in a little bit of a break, taking the hiatus for a little bit. But champion for a year and got back to the WWE. So you know what he was doing?
I don't fault anybody for taking the money they make. Like, hey, she worked a great deal. That's awesome. But you're right. Without the substance there, how long is that going to last? And when that ceiling breaks through,
take the money, but get the money, but give them the money's worth. That's what Will Ospreay's doing. Do you know what I mean? Don't take the money and then get complacent and then go, why don't people like me? Well, because you took the money and you're not giving us what Mick Foley gave us, and Mick Foley weren't getting paid anywhere near what you were getting paid.
So, guys, you don't seem that excited about this card. But I got to be honest with you. Well, we got the Anarchy in the Arena match too, which, those they're a little hard to watch when you're there, but there's obviously a lot of wild stuff going on. The one issue that I've had with those is that they've tried to have to top each other as they've gone on when they've done these. And well, now we lit somebody on fire and hung him upside down and gave him a double super kick with thumbtacks in the
to quote Al Snow, what are you going to do next? Get a gun and shoot them?
That's the question. What the heck are they going to do?
What again, we talk a lot about the potential of things, but this match actually might. I forgot this was the Anarchy in the Arena match, to be very honest. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute. They can format it. They can do some cinematic work that, they like WWE does typically when they go backstage and nobody knows it. If they format it the right way, this actually could really, really do really, really well. Potentially. And then that's when I get worried, because then I'm like, but then they have to come back out in front of everybody and finish. And then like start, oh no, this might not work as well.
I just don't want it to be like with these Anarchy in the Arena matches. It just seemed to be like spot after spot after spot. And watching it last year, like watching them prep it backstage, they didn't know whether to defecate or wind their watch. And it was just like you were watching it go, okay, now they're setting up for the next spot, and you were watching the spot get set up in the middle of the match. That's what I don't like.
Yeah.
Then to the classic old school TLC matches between the Hardys, the Dudleys, and the Edge and Christian. Was you could see the spot happening because it would just blend and form together and flow, and then it would take you by surprise. These Anarchy in the Arena matches is just like, oh look, that you can see the prop guys bringing it out, and you're like, oh god, this is what's coming, and then it just completely takes away from wrestling. The whole point of these matches is you're so infuriated with these crews or these your opponents that you're bringing everything out. The whole thing, King used to sell it. Sorry, Mark, I can see you looking at me like this guy's rambling again. But
I've got a minute to go. So
okay, well, I'll be really quick. Jerry the King Lawler used to say, "Oh my God, those tables are for the prop guys for when they tear down the ring." And it was like, "Oh my God, that's the prop table." Oh, he went, and now it's just like, "Oh, there's random chairs and things stuck under the ring." With AEW, it's all lined up in the galleyway by the arena entrance, and you can see it coming a mile off. It ruins all that flavor.
It is. I always say it's year 13 of WCW. Like
it's
Jesus.
Wow.
It feels
Judy Bagwell on a pole match.
I mean, yeah, who's going to be the next in a cage, in a shark cage on a pole? Like,
yeah.
You know what? I'm going to enjoy this card. I'm just going to have fun and watch some professional wrestling. But by the way, didn't mention the Paragon match, Cole Riley and Strong against the Don Callis family. Yeah, that'll be a fun one too. Get some pretty good talent in there. But it should be a wild night in Glendale, Arizona. Can't wait to see it live. Looking forward to taking the boys down there. Phil, I wish you were with us. Got to get out here sometime, man.
Sometime.
WrestleMania next year.
I mean,
and don't forget, if you want local Las Vegas wrestling, Future Stars of Wrestling is on Harrison Drive. And you can see stars like Mariachi Montana, Danny Limelight, and many more. And we've got good news that Shogun is making a full recovery after his car accident. So shout out to Shogun. Hope you're feeling well, buddy.
Yeah, we miss him. He's an awesome guy. A very nice guy. So that'll be fun to see him back in the ring. And that's going to do it for us. Should be a terrific day. I hope everybody has a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy yourselves, guys. Check out all this wrestling that's going to be happening. And, you can be a little skeptical about it, but be a fan a little bit and kick back and relax and enjoy what's coming to you for a great couple of days.
Adios, gentlemen.
I'm Mark Hoke, Ash Arkell, Joey DeFalco.
Goodbye.
Phil Stamper.
Phil's the man.
He is the man.
Yeah, you two can just sort of.
He is the president of wrestling. Guys, we'll see you next week on the Mark Hoke Show. Have a great day, Las Vegas.
next week it's the Ash and Phil show.
Yeah.
That sounds good.